No, I'm not. I'm in Mr. Patrick's laboratory, and we're having a great time. In our last video, we were talking about dancing fruits. We were fighting buoyancy as these fruits were going up and down in the liquid. Check it out. It is so much fun. I don't have to have my goggles for this one. This one is so much fun. We were talking about how if you drop the grape in the water, it just sort of sits there. That craisin right there is trying to float and not float, depending on, but these are crazy. And we talked about in carbonated drinks, or I used baking soda and vinegar to make bubbles. As it gets the bubbles on it and they collect on it, they go up and down and up and down. And you can even do it, I did it with a craisin. You can do it with a raisin or a half a grape, or you could even do it with rice. And it'll go up and down for a long time. This is a great way, kids, to amaze your parents. That was an awesome trick. Today, we're going to do some awesome things again today. Now, what we're going to do is, we've been talking about buoyancy and how water pushes up and it's fighting gravity that's pushing down. And I promised you that we were going to make a submarine today. Now, before we do that, we're going to do some things with water. Water is this amazing substance. Now, we know that we have to drink water every day. You and I are mostly made up of water, but we don't slosh around everywhere. But we know some facts about water. You'll die of lack of water before you'll die of lack of food. That's how much we need water. But water is an amazing compound. And in this video, I'm going to show you about 3 or 4 cool things you can do to amaze your parents. But then what we're going to do is probably even next week, we're going to do some other ones. That's how amazing it is. Then we're going to make a submarine that goes with buoyancy and Archimedes Principle. So Miss Christie's going to get close. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to take a balloon, just a normal balloon. I'm going to blow up a balloon. Okay? And so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take the sink, and I'm going to turn the sink on really, really slow. I just want a thin stream of water. Now, she's going to get a good view of that. Okay? Now, check out what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this balloon, and you can do it in a couple of ways. You can rub it in your hair if you want to, and some of you already know what I'm doing, or I'm going to rub mine on my shirt. Okay? And Miss Christie's going to get close, and what I'm doing is I'm building static electricity. Now, Miss Christie, get close. I want you to watch that stream of water as I put this balloon next to it. Watch this. Do you see that? You see the water come out the side? Watch, I'm going to do it again. Woo! Did you see that? That was cool. Okay, I got to build up static again. Okay, rub it in my hair a little bit. Rub it on my shirt. Rub it on my lab jacket. Got to build up good electricity. Here it comes. See that move? That's amazing. How does it do it? One more time. See it moving? If I build up a big enough charge, I can really get it to move. See if I can really get it to jump. And I'm trying to get that. I have to have a thin stream of water. Here it comes. Whoa, did you see it? It's spraying right at it. Why does it do that? Now, for my older kids, if you're middle school or high school, we know that water is a polar molecule. A polar molecule has charges. And since it has charges, it attracts the charges. And so when I rub it in my hair, it probably makes my hair stick up and probably looks better. Maybe not. Okay, so when I rub it in my hair, okay, or when I rub it on my shirt or I rub it on my jacket, what I'm doing is I'm building up a charge. There's a lot of ways you can do it. You can rub it on a blanket and it builds up a charge really, really quick. And this is charged and it's attracted to the water. That's a really cool one, okay? That's a cool first one to try. Now we're going to do another one real quick. Check this one out. In a couple of videos last week, we were using ping pong balls, okay? We were using ping pong balls. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a bottle, just an empty bottle, it's a water bottle, okay, and I'm just going to fill it to the very top. And I'm going to give you some instructions so you make sure it works right. I'm going to fill it all the way to the top. I mean, like as much to the top as I can. And then I'm going to take that ping pong ball and stick it on the top. Now watch what happens. As I take that and I turn it over real slow, magic! Check that out. That shouldn't happen. Huh. Try it again. Well, and it came off. And here's why. It lost it. Now, there's this thing called surface tension. And water sticks to things really, really good. And I try not to get a bubble in there. That's what you want to fight. Try it one more time. Okay? And I got to be real careful. I got to go slow at first. There it goes. Now watch this. I can even take that. Now if I'm careful with it, I can actually spin it. Whoops, I knocked it off. Pushed it too hard, Mr. Patrick. Let's try it again. Okay? Try it again. I want water all the way to the top. Push it into the top like that. Okay? And then I can, oops, I did it wrong. I mean water all the way to the top. Okay, I'm going to show you in a minute why it really, really works. I'm going to take that I'm going to slowly, now it doesn't have to be a water bottle. You can do it on a lot of different kinds, okay? And so as you go along, you can actually spin it. See if that label will come around on there. See that label? So you can tell I'm spinning it. Then I can take it right back. It's water tension. Now, if you've ever been to a pond or a lake, you can see these little bugs that run across the top. Can we do that? No. How do they walk on the water? It's buoyant force. The water pushing up, they don't weigh very much pushing down, so the buoyant force, they can run right across the top of the water. And so that's really what's happening here. Let me see if I can do this one more time. Whoa, I did that a little faster that time. I'm getting better at it. It takes practice. Okay, and so it sticks to the top. Now, I can do that on a bigger level too. Okay, I can do that on a bigger level too. So here's what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a glass, okay, and I'm going to, and these are things that look like magic. If you practice it a little bit before your parents see it, it's awesome. Okay, now this time I'm going to do it a little bit different. I'm going to have a little bit of, I have a little bit of space at the top, and here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take a card. Now this is a 3x5 card, or you can use a deck of cards, like playing cards, and you can put it on top. And I'm going to switch hands, because I'm dominant like that, okay? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold it, I'm going to turn it over very quickly, okay? Looks like magic. The water tension is holding on to it. Now, is it stuck permanently? Watch this. Here it goes. No, it's not permanent. It comes off. And so it sticks to things. Now, we know that water sticks to things pretty well. Now, you can do it with different sizes. Here's one more. I'm going to take this jar. Now, this is an old candle jar. That's all it is. And I'm going to take, and I don't have it all the way to the top, but I'm going to put this card on top, and I'm going to flip it over like that, hold it up against it very carefully. Look how that works. That's really cool. Okay? And there's a lot of different things you can do with surface tension, but this one's a really cool one. Now, check that out. I even turned it the other way around. Oh, that looked like I did with a ping pong ball. Now, I'm going to try an experiment I haven't done. See if I can get it. Oh, yeah, I did it. I've never tried that. That was awesome. Let me try it one more time. Ready? It's sort of stuck to it. Is it permanent? Seems to be. Ugh, but it's not. Why? That had really good tension. Now, are they the same size? No, try out different things. Now, hint, kids, don't use your mom's very expensive glasses. You don't want to drop it. I'm using glass material. You might even try it with plastic first. But you need to make sure that your card goes all the way over the top of it so that it'll stick to it. That one's a really, really cool one. Now, here's one that's really fun for smaller kids or bigger kids. See if you can figure this one out. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take a cup. And this is a disposable cup so you can see what I'm doing. And I'm going to fill it up. I mean, I'm going to fill it all the way to the top. And here's what I'm going to do. I saw this one online, and they called it Will Water Spill? Now, Miss Christie's going to have to get even with it really good. And here's what's going to happen. I'm going to take some pennies. 1 penny. Did it spill out? No. 2. 3. Parents, this is a great one for preschool kids. See how many they can get in there before it spills out the side. How many did I put in there? There's 4, 5, 6, 7. Now, I bet if you look right across the top of that. Miss Christie's doing a great job. You can see it's coming up out of the top of the cup. Why isn't it spilling out? Because water is amazing. 7. And I'm going to stop because I don't want you to know how many it takes. So you fill it to the top and you slowly drop pennies in. Now, the pennies take up space, don't they? Now, think about this. If I filled the bathtub all the way to the top, Archimedes Principle says, if I get in, is the water going to go on the floor? Yes. That's not good. Mom will be mad. Okay? So I want to make sure I don't fill it all the way to the top. So when I get in, I displace. Remember that word? Displace water. It pushes the water up. But I'm dropping pennies in there and it's not spilling. That's a cool one. Have a challenge with a friend or your brother or sister, your mom and dad, and say, I bet I can drop more in there before the water spills. That's a cool one. So we've done different things with water. Okay? Now what we're going to do is we're going to make a submarine. Now, in the last video, at the end of it, I gave you all the things you needed, so I'm going to point out what you need to make your submarine. You need a bottle, okay, with a lid, okay? I have a 3-liter bottle. You could use a 2-liter bottle if you wanted to, and you're going to see what I'm going to do with it here in a minute. I took the label off, okay? I have rubber bands, okay? I have 2 of the big paper clips, 2 of them. Okay, these are the big ones, the metal paper clips, that's 2 of the bigger ones. Okay, this is where you have to be careful. I'm gonna use a knife and I'm gonna have to cut. This is where your parents have to help you. You have to be safe. Now you'll notice that my knife has a cover on it so it protects me, okay? I don't wanna cut myself at all. And then I also need some washers. Now Miss Christy's gonna get close so you can see this. For the one I'm gonna make, I'm gonna use a plastic washer that looks like that. It's a little thicker, but here's a washer that you might have at your house. Metal ones work good. If you have metal ones, you'll want 2 of them, okay? My plastic one happens to be just as thick as 2 of those, so I'm just gonna use plastic, but either one works great, okay? And these are all the parts you need to make a submarine. Now, the very first thing you're gonna need is, notice, I have a cutting board, okay? And on this cutting board is where I'm gonna do my work. And this is where your parents are gonna help you. Now, Miss Christy, you're gonna have to get close to see this. What I did on this bottle is I showed you where to cut. So you're gonna put a hole in the top of the lid. See where I made that circle? So I would take a knife and I would cut a hole. I would drill a hole right there. You could even use a drill and a drill bit. On the other end, there's 2 that you're gonna make. You're gonna make one right here in the middle and then pick one of the sides. Now this water bottle has those little legs on it. I just need 2 holes here, okay? 2 holes is all I need, okay? And so what I'm gonna do is I'm going to drill this hole and then I'm gonna drill this hole, okay? And then here's what happens. I'm gonna take my paper clips, okay? I'm gonna take my paper clips and I'm gonna open them up, okay? So I'm gonna open up my paper clips and here's what I'm going to do. One's gonna be a hook in the bottom of the bottle, one's gonna be a hook in the top of the bottle. So one of them, I need it to be really, really tall and long, okay? So I have to work with this paper clip to try to make it as straight as I can, okay? And so I'm gonna have to bend it around because it doesn't wanna do that, but I need one to be pretty straight, okay? And then I need the other one to be hooked like this, okay? So let me show you what's gonna happen. In my bottle, because I already made one to make it a little easier, you will see that what I did, let me undo this so you can see it, is I have one of the paper clips and I pushed it through the bottom hole and I have a hook. And you can see the hook inside. And then I pushed the other side into the hole and shoved it in there. That makes sure the hook doesn't come out. So I want you to really see that, okay? So that's what that hook looks like, okay? So I pushed the main part, the main hook, into the hole that's directly in the bottom. And then I shoved the other piece inside. This makes sure that this paper clip cannot come out of the bottom of the bottle, okay? Then what I did was I took the other paper clip. That's this one, okay? And I have a rubber band. And so what I did was I ran it through the lid. See how it's running through the lid right there in the top? See that, how it's running through? It's running through the lid. It's going down, and I've got the rubber band hooked on it. And then I hooked it on the bottom one, okay? This is gonna be the propulsion, okay? This is where I'm gonna get the power for my submarine. Now, I'm gonna leave that alone for a second, all right? Here's my 2 liter, this one happened to be a 3 liter bottle. It doesn't have to be green, whatever color. I just bought this one because it was 99 cents, okay? And so what I did was I cut off the bottom of the bottle. I don't need this part anymore, so I'm gonna let that one go away. So what I did was I had the bottom of that 3 liter, and then what I did was I made fins. Check this out. In between, well, let me show it to you like this. See, these are the bumps that it would stand on when the whole bottle was together. And so what I did was I cut out in between those bumps with a pair of scissors. It's easier with scissors than a knife, okay? Now, here's where I had to be careful again. There is a hole, and I'm gonna prove it to you real quick. There's a hole right there, okay? And so that hole is there on purpose, and I used either a drill or you can use a knife, but you have to be careful. Have your parents help you, okay? And so here's what's gonna happen. This is my propeller. Now, if you look at it like this, it's a propeller, okay? So let me show you. I'm gonna put this on there so you'll see how it's gonna work here in a minute, okay? It's gonna spin like this. This is my propeller for my submarine, okay? Now, let's go back to our bottle, making sure everybody understands. I had a hole in the lid and I had 2 holes in the bottom. So I took the paper clip that looked like this, shoved it in the hole in the bottom so the hook is in the middle, and then I took the other end and just shoved it inside so that it holds it in place. Now, here's what's important. It's gonna look like this, okay? what it's going to look like. And I'm going to spin it just a little bit so Miss Christy can get all the angles for you. Okay. Now here's where you have to do a little work. Now in the video I watched, they put a waterproof sealant here. That's a little expensive. Here's easier. Okay. Take a little hot glue and hot glue at this hole and hot glue at this hole. Okay. And so what they want is so water doesn't get in and out. Now easier than that, take a piece of bubble gum, chew up the bubble gum, shove it in the hole, and it'll be waterproof. If it ever comes off, you get to chew another piece of gum. That's perfect. And so you shove it on there so it doesn't let water in and out. Now, what has happened is this. Now I have my bottle, and I'm going to put the cap on, and my rubber band is in the top. Now watch, Miss Christy. See how I can pull in and out on that? That rubber band stretches. Now, if you don't get enough power with one rubber band, feel free to use two. I just started with one. That's good enough. Now, here's my bottle. And how do I get the propeller on it? Now I'm going to straighten this out because I've been playing with it a little bit, practicing so I can show you. And so there's that straight. Now, what I want to do is put my propeller on. There's my propeller. But if I learned real quick, if I put my propeller on like that, it rubs too much right there and it doesn't work. So that's where I need my washer. So I'm going to take that little washer that I had, that plastic washer. Okay, now it doesn't have to be a plastic washer. If you wanted to, you could use two metal washers. It doesn't matter. They work the same way. Really what it's doing is it's giving you some space. But I'm going to use my plastic one. Okay, and then I'm going to take and I'm going to put the propeller on. Okay, and that's going to be my submarine. Now, does a submarine float on the surface all the time? No. Does it sink all the time? No. So before I finish putting this together, because I wanted you to see what it looks like when it's put together, here's what happens. Okay, so it's going to be like this. And then all I do I'll show you how to seal it here in a second. But here's what I have to do first. I'm going to open it because I didn't do this yet because I didn't want you to be confused. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some water in it. Okay, now I'm not going to tell you how much water, but I'm going to put some water in it because you get to play with it. Now, what's going to happen is I'm going to now have my submarine. When I do this, does it float all the way on the top? No, it doesn't. It can float somewhere in between, and you can do it in something like this. Now, instead of getting water everywhere, this time I'm just going to let the water out, okay? I'm just going to let all the water out. I'm just going to show you how it's made, and then you get to make it. Remember, it's going to be waterproof on this other end because you either used hot glue or you used gum to stop it, and that's good enough. But I'm just, for right now, I'm just going to show you how to make it. Now, so I'm going to take my propeller. It would be full of water. It's sealed on this side, okay? So what's going to happen is I put my propeller on it, and then here's all I do. All I do is I take that piece of paper clip, and I stretch it out, and I just bend it over one of the fins, like that, okay? See how it's bent over like that? Now, here's what's going to happen. I take my fin, and I spin it. Now look what's happening to my rubber band. It's all twisting. Now watch. See that? Okay, I'll do it again, and Miss Christy can back up in just a second. See, it's building up power right there. Now, Miss Christy, if you'll back up just a step. Perfect. Watch the fin. And that's going to make it go. We're going to talk more about physics and propulsion, and we're going to talk about all these things, but this is the perfect time when we're doing buoyancy. Now, what I have is, and I'm going to show you one more time, I have the paper clips just bent over outside that fin, okay? Got to be careful so it doesn't hurt you. If it's sticking out like I have that one, you can do it like that, okay? And so what I'm doing is I'm letting that, now that's not perfectly even, but if I have two rubber bands, I have more power. See how that spins? Now, I want it to go straight. Now, does an airplane look like this? Sort of, but it doesn't work exactly like this. It has to have a wing, okay? So here's the last thing you saw on the list. You can take a ruler or a paint stick, okay? And I sort of measured it. This was a paint stick, and I broke it, okay? Because I want it to do what I want it to do. And then I have one last rubber band. Here's what I'm going to do with that rubber band. I'm just going to latch it to it, okay? So I'm going to take it like this, okay? And I'm just going to put it on there, just twist that rubber band on there like that, and then I'm going to even it out. Now, you can imagine if it almost looks like an airplane. It almost does. So it's almost like an airplane underwater. Now, reminder, you want to have water in it so it does it underwater. But I'm just going to show you on top of the water. Why? Because it's just full of air. Okay, so here's what's going to happen basically. And this is not going to be great because this isn't a pool. But when I set it in there and I turn it on and it takes off and it's touching the side more than I want it to, it'll propel. You can use it in the bathtub. You can use it in your pool. Now remember, kids, you don't get in a pool without your parents knowing that. That's not safe. We're always doing safety. Okay? But when you build up all that pressure on there and you can put it and it goes underwater, it will go underwater perfectly. Okay? And so when I put it in the water, it's going to propel as it goes and it's going to take off. Now I'm going to tell you, in mine, woo, look at that go. I need more tension underwater. So I need another rubber band. So I need 2 rubber bands, maybe 3, so that when I go along, that propeller really goes. Now, what happens if you don't put this on it? Try it out. Try it out in the pool. Try it out in the bathtub without the wing on it. Now, you may not want it that long, and that's okay. That's up to you. That's experiments, okay? But you want a lot of power coming out of this, and you can make a submarine. Now, why does it go down and why does it go up? Remember, when I put it in the water, water's trying to push up. That's buoyancy. But it's heavy. When it has water, it tries to go down. So I want it to sink down some way. Do I want it to go all the way to the bottom? Maybe I do. How do I do that? If I want it to go halfway in the water, then I have some air and some water. And you can try it out. You can make your own submarine. It's awesome. There's all kinds of things we've learned in this unit about buoyancy. We've learned that that force is pushing up all the time while gravity's pushing down. So we said that density is trying to make things sink, but buoyancy is pushing up. These sciences work together. It is awesome. We're learning so much. I've learned so much studying it, and I hope you're having a great time on Mr. Patrick's Laboratory. Hope you're having a great time. Post the pictures of your submarines. We'd like to see. You know what? Baxter'd like to see it too. See him? Checking it out. He's watching me make my submarine. We want to check it out. We're having a great time. I hope you and your family are being safe at home, doing science together on Mr. Patrick's Laboratory and Miss Christie's Kitchen. See you next week.